Got 10 grand burning a hole in your pocket? Want to buy something cool? Then this video is for you. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is LCOBMW. I'm Glenn McGowan. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 picks of cars for $10,000. So I have a little criteria here first that I'm going to use is that rear drive, easy to work on, big aftermarket support, and reliable. So my picks pretty much are cars that you can get for a decent price, modify, and be able to drive the thing every day without it being too big of a project like a Maserati for 6 grand and you want to LS swap it. That may be a cheap car, but a very expensive build. So this is pretty much 5 cars that you can get, do a little bit of bolt-on modifications, have a good street car, drift car, race car, all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. So my number 5 pick is this. Dodge Chargers and Challengers, right around the 2010 year range. So a little older, a little newer. They're all right around 10 and under, especially the 4-door Chargers. There's a ton of those out there. And then the 2-door Challengers as well. V8s, pretty much all automatic for the most part. But you can get those for a good price. So if you are a Mopar guy and buying an old AAR Cuda is out of your price range, these are great entry-level Mopars to buy and build. Huge aftermarket for performance and exterior, wheels, tires, all that kind of stuff. They've been around now for a while, so pretty much anything you want to do to it, it's out there. My number 4 pick is this, the Mustang. This was number 5 on my top 5 for 5 grand list. Now, with $10,000 in your pocket, you can get a little bit newer one, all the way up to around the 2010 range. So 2010 all the way back into pretty much like the 90s, late 80s, you could pretty much get a decent one for $10,000. But at a $10,000 price point, you can get the newer body style if you're into that. So 2010, a little older, a little newer, right around there. V8, stick shift, pretty much anything you want to do to that car has been done, and there's everything available for it. Mustang popularity is huge, and there is just so much in the aftermarket for them. Performance, exterior, you name it, you could do it to those cars. So that's why it's back on my list for 10 grand. So number 3 is this. It is 4th gen F-body Camaro Firebird, which is the LS1 cars, or the 5th generation Camaro. They are all right around $10,000. They have great power plants, the LS, super reliable, 6-speed cars, and even though the popularity of the 4th gens have went up, the LS1 cars, they're still right at that price point. Granted, it'll probably be a little higher mileage and stuff like that, but it is an awesome platform. Same thing, 5th gen Camaro, you have that newer body style, and there's just a ton of stuff out there that you can do to those things as far as exterior modifications, performance stuff is just everywhere. I mean, LS stuff is super hot and popular, and you can build a really nice car, you know, daily driver or a street car that's super reliable, making a lot of power. So they are awesome platforms, and that's why it's my number 3. My number 2 pick is this. 3 Series BMW, specifically the 335i model, which is E90, E92 chassis, 07 to 2013, I believe. The engine is a twin turbo N54, N55. They had a lot of problems right out of the gate with the turbos and oil lines and all sorts of issues. But now that everything's kind of worked out of that, there's a lot of conversions from twin to single turbo, and they can make a lot of power, 400 or 500 horsepower, 6-speed rear-wheel drive, and reliable that you can put your kids in the back, daily drive the thing every day, and have a lot of fun with the car. So the popularity is growing with them a lot, and they are kind of like the first twin turbo BMWs that came out. So with anything new, there's issues, but once they're worked out, they're great cars to own and operate and make a lot of power. So my number 1 pick is this, the C5 Corvette. Mainly the late 90s one, so like 97 to 2000. They seem to be at that price point now. Granted, it's not going to be a super low mile car, but you can get one for right around $10,000, maybe $9,000, somewhere in that range, and that is an amazing car for the price. You can also get C4 Corvettes that are like the LT1 6-speed cars, like so early 90s, they're also right in that price point, which is like all the kinks of the C4s have been worked out at that point. You have a nice 300 horsepower LT1 with a 6-speed to back it up. So they're kind of right in that price range too, but mainly my focus is on the C5 Corvette. So LS1, they really nailed the front and rear suspension, you know, after years of different changes. So that car itself is actually like just such an amazing car for the dollar. So it is, you know, America's sports car, and they put so much time and engineering into it. And the C5, they really got a lot of it right. It's balanced really well. The trans is in the back. It's got an LS1, you know, it's short arm, long arm, front and rear suspension. So it had upper and lower control arms in the front and the rear, opposed to the 4 links from the C4s. So that car itself, for the money, is probably one of the best, you know, performance cars that you can get, mainly for that LS1 in there, and anything that you can get to bolt up to that, you know, you could do engine modifications, superchargers, turbochargers, like it's all been done. The cars handle super well, and in my opinion, it's one of my favorite cars, even though I don't own one. I have a bunch of C4s in the past, but the C5 to me is like when they really came and perfected the Corvette. So I feel like they've, you know, obviously improved a lot since then, but when that car came out, it really kind of changed the game a little bit for them. So that's my #1 pick. I think it's an awesome car. And same thing, 10 grand also gets you like pretty much a really nice 85 Corvette, or, you know, like all that kind of stuff, a 70s or an 80s Corvette, late 70s or something like that. But right now, the way the market is, $10,000, I've seen them out there, and it's not uncommon. I've seen a bunch of them out there for right around $10,000. For what you're getting for that money is amazing. So that's my #1 pick, and I think it's a great car. So I also had some runner-ups, which we'll get into now. Okay, so the runner-ups are this Subaru WRX, early 2000 ones. Just kind of wanted to throw this in here for people who are into like rally racing, all-wheel drive cars. They're turbocharged, and they're still right around $10,000. They're not gonna be like super nice ones, but there are a lot of them out there still. And I know that they're super popular, and there's a huge aftermarket for them, so I wanted to just kind of include them. Other would be Nissan 350Z and the Infiniti G35. Same chassis as the Infinity's, like a little bit more like higher end, I guess, interior wise, but same thing. Your rear wheel drive, stick shift, you know what I mean? There's a lot of aftermarket support for those, and a lot of things have been done to those. So that's my second runner up. And my third one is E36, E46 BMW. For 10 grand, you can get a 330 5-speed, probably a lower mile one. Awesome car. E36 is same thing, a little older, but really clean. 328 5-speed. They're out there, like mainly like the coupes are more desirable. So at that price, you can get a really nice one. Both of those are going up in value, so really nice clean ones are fetching pretty pennies. M3s are more than $10,000 at this point, so that's kind of off the list. But right at $10,000, you can get a really nice one of those and either keep it stock or, you know, LS or Coyote swap it. So they are my 3 runner-ups. So that's it for my list of top 10 cars for $10,000. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.